Hello, everyone. Happy winter solstice. We're here. We're doing things. It's fantastic. And I'm joined today by the very quickly becoming legendary Apostacie. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy we're finally doing this.
I know we've been emailing since like June or something.
I know, I'm so sorry. I was
I,
busy all summer, so
yeah, it's all right. Life gets
yeah,
crazy.
here we
I
are.
only just got back from being over the road for a couple of months, just a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
life is lifey. So yeah, good time.
yeah.
How are things for you? Like secular holiday greetings and such like. Like do you guys do a secular version of Christmas or Yule or Saturnalia or Sol Invictus or any of the other holidays you have to choose from?
Um, Christmas has stayed pretty much the same other than we just don't go to church anymore. I was really big on going to Christmas Eve services. Um, and I had a nativity scene. We have no nativity scenes. We have nothing religious in our home anymore. So that's been kind of nice. We used to read the Bible, the Christmas story before we open presents. We don't do that anymore, but it's pretty low key. Um, I know my husband loves the fact that it's now the the shortest day of the year is done with. So now we're getting into the longer days. So I think we kind of celebrate the solstice, but nothing major. It's just, yay, now we're getting longer days. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think that's his favorite day of the entire year.
I feel that. I mean,
Yeah.
I love nighttime because I love the stars, but
Okay.
I also like not freezing. That's nice too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm I just want it kind of to be done only because I'm a summer girl. I love spring. I love summer. So yeah. But yeah, it's kind
Fall's
of
my
important.
personal favorite, but spring's a close second. You get the
Okay.
pretty colors and the flowers, and there's that 2 weeks where it's warm enough that it's fun outside, but the bugs aren't
Mhm.
out yet.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Here where I live, we can enjoy the spring and then the beginning of summer, and then usually by about the end of July, beginning of August, we get a lot of fires. So, um, yeah, spring is a good time because then it's mostly smoky season. So, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's well, things are a little bit crazy.
Mhm.
I had a friend on the other end of Canada who he kept having to postpone things because first there were fires all over the place and then there were floods all over the place. I'm like, My guy, watch
Oh,
out for jaguars," because
that
you know.
what end of Canada? Because that sounds like where I am.
I think he was in Northern Ontario. I'm not
Oh,
entirely
okay.
sure.
Okay. 'Cause I'm in BC and we had floods and fires in 2021. So, I don't know. It
Yeah,
was
it's like
it was
the
it was
whole
a crazy
planet's
year.
on fire. What can you do?
Yeah, it's all bad. It's all bad.
Hmm.
It's all bad. So, yeah,
Keeps things adventurous.
it
But
does.
yeah, so since you've been doing the podcast, the show with your mom for around about a year ish.
We started in May.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So about 7 months we've had our podcast, and it's been a lot of fun. It's we just do it once a week, and it's sometimes we have to miss a week once in the summer because of fires. We just were like, it's too crazy right now. And we're kind of taking a bit of a hiatus until after Christmas. And then also, I have 3 kids. So sometimes it's just a little busy, but that's my mom. That's my mom.
I
Um,
see you, D.
oh, my husband's in the chat. He said Nova Scotia for floods and fires, Brian Gron. So he knows
Aha.
what's up. He
Hello,
follows
Brian.
the weather.
Ooh, he spells his name correctly. Very good.
Yeah.
I have admiration for that.
There you go. Um, so yeah, so we've been doing that. And I also have been a host on Skeptic Haven
Mhm.
for about a year. I took a bit of a hiatus and then I'm going back to them in January. So yeah. it's been fun.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I try to swing by Skeptic Haven whenever I can, which is usually when Wes sends me an email and is like, "Hey, I need help. Can you help?" And I'm like, you
Yeah,
know,
Wes is so sweet. I love Wes.
yeah, he's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, they kinda
Yeah,
got me into the whole podcasting, world. So,
I see. He was like, "You have to
yeah.
come do this thing."
Yeah, they sent me a message on TikTok, last summer and asked me to come on, and I was like, "Sure, okay." And that's kinda where it all started, so, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Mhm.
Weirdly, I have a somewhat similar origin story. It
Oh,
was,
okay.
yeah. I was just floating around the interwebs as one does. Science
Mhm.
enthusiast myself, so I really enjoyed Forrest Valkai because he's got so much energy and
He's awesome.
yeah, he's just fantastic. And once the algorithm figured out I liked Forrest content, it started sending me his appearances on the Atheist Experience and eventually on the line and such. And I had no idea there even was a skeptical humanist community on YouTube, and I was like,
Right.
"Ooh, this is interesting." So I started watching some of the back catalog of the Atheist Experience, and then Matt quit, and the ACA was like, "Help, help, we need more hosts." And I was like, "Yeah, I can do that. I have the equipment. I
Oh,
have the internet. I've talked to people for years and years. I can
right.
help." And sort of the same thing with Wes. Come help. We need somebody to do a thing.
Yeah.
It didn't actually turn out with the ACA. There was a snafu with scheduling. I was supposed to appear on Secular Sexuality first to see
Oh,
how I do, and then they canceled the show
oh,
right
that was too
before my
bad.
appearance.
Oh.
You know. But that's why I started the channel, is because one of
Oh,
the producers said, "Well, we really need to see how you are on camera." So I started producing content so they could see how I am on camera. And
okay. And you're
ta-da!
great. Here you are.
I do what I can. There's
Yeah.
I'm still working on it. There's
Mhm.
a lot of people that I really look up to in how they
Mhm.
present things. Like Paul from Paulogia, how he's so fair but still manages to get quips in here and there.
Yeah.
And John the Skeptic, how he manages to make everything so fucking funny.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I
Yeah.
try to do what I can do, but at the same time, I wish I had like more elements from
There
these other people.
is major imposter syndrome when you're on YouTube for sure. You're just yeah, I've definitely encountered that. So, yeah. But there's a lot of people to look up to and admire and
Mhm.
learn from not just from YouTube, but also just so much information. So,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, it's a great resource. So, yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of great people in your chat. I'm just looking at like, "Oh my gosh."
Mhm.
Hello to Craig Crystal and, I've recognized so many names, Aunt Jer, and I've even seen this
Oh
at
yeah.
as Hoax 64 and
Oh
yeah.
yeah. As is flexing, he has his own emoji on my channel.
Okay. And Carrie Ann, there's just lots of people. So, hi everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. So many great people.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, and Kalasia. Yeah. Yeah. So, thank you again for having me.
Of course, of course. It's a like I said, it's a thing I've wanted to do for a long time since
Mhm.
I forget where I came across you. Um it may have been an appearance with Dave over on the line. It may have been
Oh.
um I feel like you were on Deep Drinks at one point, maybe.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so I'm not sure. It's been a while, so I'm not sure where I came across you, but yeah, you struck me as like a really genuine person who has a lot to say, particularly about community, which is one of
Mhm.
my bigger things.
Mhm.
I'm all about community. I do shows where I point out channels that people may not have heard of because I was around for 6 or 7 months and still finding new channels. And when I'd find them, I'd find a bunch of the people that I know already
Mhm.
there. And I'm like, why didn't any of you people tell me about this channel? So I
Yeah.
made it a point to start pointing out channels and things. Um, I guess that leads into the next question.
Mhm,
You've talked about your deconversion a few different times.
mhm.
How did you go from just, vibing as a deconverted person into a community activist type role?
It it happened really quickly. Um, so like, December 17th was my 2-year, I'd say, of me saying, "I no longer believe in God." So it's recent. Um And so how it happened, I've shared this only a couple of times, so it might be new, it might be old to people, but um, I when I deconverted, I jumped right into have other people experienced this because you really feel like you might be the only person, even though you might not be, but you feel like you might be the only person who has left religion, left Christianity, and so the first thing I did was I jumped onto my local library's website and I started looking up different books to find out, like, has anyone else gone through this? And so I came across a book called Deconverted by this really small named person called Seth Andrews. And I checked it out, and I read his book, and I had never heard of him before in my life because why would I at that point? And I read his book, and everything that this person that I had never heard of was saying, I was like, "He knows my story, he knows my life. I know, like, who is this person?" And so at the end of the book, it said, um, he runs this podcast called The Thinking Atheist. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I should check out this podcast called The Thinking Atheist. So I found him on YouTube and I was hooked on all of his content. And so my algorithm was starting to pick up other content creators because I looked up The Thinking Atheist. So but part of that story is I was binging Seth's content and I was just probably watching like 2 or 3 of his shows from 2008 to now, which would have been 2021, 2022. And I was watching like 2 or 3 episodes a day, and they were just on auto replay. One would end, another one would begin. And so it was like 3 months after deconverting of watching him daily. And I remember one night I was saying to my husband, like, I'm like, this guy is just the nicest person. Like, I love listening to him. He's so genuine. He's so kind. He knows what everyone's going through. He's just incredible. And I said that to my husband one night while we were making dinner. And the next day I listened to another one. When that one finished, the one that auto played right after was an episode that he did, and I was blown away because the episode with the person he was interviewing, it had my sister-in-law on as his guest, and I did, like, a double take. I'm like, "Hold on, wait, what? Hold on." And I had to look at it.
Surprise!
I was like, so my husband is one of 12 kids. They have a really big
Oh
family.
my.
And yeah, and so when we were involved in a charismatic Pentecostal church years ago, we went to church with my husband's brother and his wife, and we went to a Pentecostal church together. And we ended up not going there for a while. And it's just a really big family. And we just kind of lost touch because, again, 12 kids, big family. So we hadn't talked to them in a while. So then I hadn't talked to my sister-in-law in a couple years just because of kids, life, all the things. And so the first time I see her is on Seth Andrews' podcast. He's right. Yeah, not Catholic. So I go running into the other room and I was like, "Brian, do you remember that guy that I was telling you that I watch every single day, Seth Andrews?" I'm like, "Look who he's interviewing on his show." And I was like, "He has like 350 something thousand subscribers on YouTube. Look who he's interviewing." And I show him and he's like, "Oh my God, is that Aaron?" And I'm like, "Yes." So I was like, I was blown away. Um, so I texted my sister-in-law and I said, "Okay, I know we haven't like seen each other in a while and I haven't messaged you in a while, but I was watching my favorite podcast this morning, The Thinking Atheist." And I said, "Yes, you read that right, The Thinking Atheist. And you were the guest." I hope I'm not lagging right now. It looks like I was maybe lagging. Um, anyways,
You
so
seem okay to me.
do I? Okay, it looked like it was lagging on my end. Anyways, so I said, "I know that I haven't." I said, "Yes, it's The Thinking Atheist. You read that correct." Um, and so I said, "I saw you were the guest." And she wrote back, she's like, "Wait, hold on. You were watching The Thinking Atheist. Like, why is that even in your like repertoire? What's going on?" So I said, "Yeah, I've deconverted. We need to catch up because why are you on there?" Anyways, long story short. So we ended up doing a Zoom, like a Zoom face to face, because we ended up living in separate cities at this point, and we just caught up. And I started saying like all the shows that I had been watching, like Prophet of Zod and Apologia
Mhm.
and all these. And she's like, "I can't believe you're saying all these names that I know. Like, what has happened to you?" Because I was like this hardcore Christian. And she's just like, "My mind is blown right now." So she ended up, she's like, "Can I tweet about this?" Because she's a really like a big tweeter. And she's like, "I actually co-host a show on the ACA every Friday night, a call-in show called Truth Wanted. I'm a
Hmm.
host." And I was like, "Oh," she's like, "I'm an activist." I'm like, "What is that?" So, um, she tweeted about me and tagged me in it. So from there, Neil, the 604 atheist, saw her tweet and said, "Hey, do you want to come on and tell your deconversion story?" And I was like, "Sure." So I ended up going on his channel. And after that, that's kind of how I got asked to go on a few other channels. And I was just like, you know what? When I first was going through this, listening to other people's stories is what helped me get through this. If I can help just one person know they're not alone, I'll just continue sharing and continue sharing. So I'll do this. So for that's how it all kind of happened, was from her initial tweet. And the rest is kind of history. And for anyone who's wondering who my sister-in-law is, it's ex-Christian Erin, and she co-hosts Truth Wanted on Friday nights, and you can find her on other things. She's absolutely amazing, and I love her to death. And we both are just blown away that we now have this in common. Neither of us saw this coming in a million trillion zillion years. So, yeah,
Life is an adventure. But yeah,
yeah,
I very much relate. Not so much to having a sister-in-law who was on an ACA show and like,
yeah,
where did this come from?
yeah.
But first of all, imagine discovering Seth Andrews by a book first.
Oh, yeah. And it was literally the title, just deconverted. I was like, okay, that sounds like me. I'll read that. Yeah.
I know. I mean, the man can tell stories, whether it's in voice or in print. But
Yeah.
with, it just strikes me so funny that a man with such a legendary voice, it's a book that gets you first.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
for sure.
Also, I have to say thank you to Kalasia.
Aw.
I'm still trying to pronounce it correctly. I'll get there. I promise.
I wanna know how
Five
to.
gifted memberships. Those went to James Duncan, In Fame Knowing, Blaster Master 80, Red Jester Productions, and Satan 616.
That is so nice when
Awesome.
people do that.
Oh yeah, it's it's
That is
it's
so nice.
great. And I really enjoy the memberships for a bunch of reasons. I dove headfirst into the custom emojis. We've got a bunch of them. And I made way too many because YouTube didn't tell me when I was first monetizing the channel that you only get 4 slots.
Okay.
And then you open up more slots as you add members. So I made like 40.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so as a consequence, every time a new slot opens up, when we hit the next membership milestone and the slot unlocks, the members get to vote on what the next emoji they get to play with is.
Okay.
That's
Well, that's
actually
so
how
cool.
Az got his own emoji. Is he suggested it, so I
Ah,
threw it into the vote. People thought it was cool, you know.
that's
So yeah,
awesome.
good times. And
Nice.
I do appreciate it also because it helps the channel out. But do
Absolutely.
enjoy custom emojis and things.
Mhm.
Yes.
Nice. Cool.
Okay. Back on topic. Yes, community.
Mhm.
Helping people feel like they're not alone. That's why I do what I do. You know, after the
100%.
ACA thing went away, I was just randomly doing counter apologetics and such, and then I started connecting with people, and they were like, you know, you help me see things in a slightly different way, or I'm rethinking this, or I've come to understand like most of the arguments are bad arguments, like you know, watchmaker argument or the moral argument or what have you. But the main problem people seem to be having is connection, community.
Mhm.
Like if I walk away from my church, I'll be isolated. And so I try to show people that there's lots and lots of other people. It's the same thing with, you know, being transgender. I'm able to be visible. So I stand up and be visible so that
Yeah,
people can see they're not the only one. There's not something broken about them.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff, it's very, very important to me. That's the entire purpose of this particular series, which
Mhm.
you know, it gets its own special banner and special intro and everything
Mhm.
because you know, without community, you know, that's one of our greatest abilities. We can do so
Mhm.
much more together than any of us can do apart.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think especially coming out of religion, you tend to lose a lot of people. And so that's been my main focus is just getting to know people and connecting. Um, that's cool. Um, because like when we left our church, even though we had moved away from our church, they still went through the process of excommunicating us publicly for 7 months, which was just ridiculous. Um, so I've told that story, and it's just so silly. Um, but I have just found such a strong community online, and so even I don't think you have to be someone with like a face online to find that community
Hmm.
at all. Like, don't think that you have to have a YouTube channel or a podcast or be someone that you see always appearing on shows in order to find community because there's other ways. I mean, sorry, I've used Crystal as an example in another show that I've done, but she's in all the chats. She's at all the shows.
Hmm.
She's someone I don't even know what she looks like, but she's a friend. She's incredible. Um, so I
Did you know
always
she
tell
has a channel?
no.
She
I
has
mean, she
see what I
probably
mean
does.
about people not saying she does. She
Okay.
posts nature videos and like close-ups with gators and boat trips and all kinds of cool
Well, there
stuff.
you go.
Yeah.
I know her from just being such a supportive person to all of us, and she's there, and, like, that's what I mean, like, you have community with people, and I always tell people, especially when they're first coming out, like, if you wanna start to get to know someone, just go in the chats and just be active and
Hmm.
engage, and you will find people just by chatting, and that's what I did even when I was still, a host on, Skeptic Haven. What I would do is, "Yes, thank you for promoting your own channel, Crystal." She's always promoting everyone else's channel.
As soon as you mention something, she's got a link. She
She
is
does
so
it.
fast.
She's so on it. She's incredible. But, like, even when I was still a host on Skeptic Haven, what I did was I was always like, "Who's live today? I wanna watch the live shows. I wanna be
Hmm.
in the chats." I wanted to learn. I wanted to
Hmm.
because I was thirsty for knowledge and I was wanting to just absorb everything. I still am, but I also was just like, "My friends are here. My friends are all here," and it's just like you come on these shows and it's like, "Oh, so and so's here. Okay, hi. And just that hello is just, it's so nice. So, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna sub to. Oh, you got more memberships! Yay!
Oh, hey, it's Reggie.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
five members from Reggie. Let's see. Oh, I gotta scroll down. I gotta go to the other window, and then I gotta scroll down. Let's see. Those went to Chess Sirius, Marion Fowler, Errolorn Wolf, R. Jones, and Lorraine Dropsophili, Dropsophila.
There you go.
Dropsophila. I can pronounce
Amazing.
words, I promise. I'm just not.
It's hard with some of the usernames. You're like, oh, I don't know.
I
But you
know
do your best.
it's tricky. Yeah, but thank you, Reggie. It's always
Yeah,
appreciated, and
amazing.
yeah, we're actually starting to get close to that next emoji slot. We
Oh,
just unlocked
good.
the 12th one, like earlier this week, I think.
Okay.
And once you get past 50, it jumps up to needing 25 members for the next one. But
Okay.
I think we're about halfway there, so we'll
Nice.
get there. It'll be
Yeah,
neat.
yeah. But that's the other thing is I love how everyone is supportive of each other's channels and, like, the big ones, the ones that are growing. It's just we're all just there to cheer each other on. So, yeah, and that's
There's
part of
quite
the
a few people
community.
with channels. Just
Yeah.
some quick shout outs while we're at it. We've got
Yeah.
Bree from Hivesci, who does all kinds of cool
I love
cryptids and
Brie.
bug stuff and
Mhm,
creation watch, and Bree just has so much
mhm.
knowledge. It blows my mind.
I was thinking of Brie today and wondering, how did she get to know everything she I was literally thinking of Brie
I
today.
know.
So, yeah. Hi, Brie.
uh, L Trucker, who, as the name implies, is a trucker. He has been over to Neil's, so you may have encountered him already.
Oh,
He
okay.
does have a channel. He's been doing um, satire songs, like
Okay.
he did a Billy Joel-ish Ray Comfort ode. Sing us
Oh,
a
nice.
song. You're the Banana Man. He's got a few others. He's working on building up an album. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So that's what's going on his channel.
Mhm.
Captive Desk, of course. Hail Bigfoot. Where is it? Where is it? I just added this button. There we go. Hail Bigfoot.
Okay.
Um, but Dave does interviews with people. I've done an interview over there.
Nice.
Also, assorted cryptid stuff. Grassman Chronicles, which just got its own channel that he does with Look at the Trees.
Mhm.
Let's
Oh, yeah.
see. What else have we got here? Um, oh, I see a Leo. Leo, of course, does
I've seen Leo.
physics and debate and philosophy and stuff. And yeah,
Amazing.
let's see. Oh, there's so many people.
Yeah.
And I'm just going off the top of my head. So if you have a channel and I don't mention you, my apologies.
Not that
I'm just kind of going with it.
yeah.
Um, as I don't believe has a channel, but he's been
I see
appearing
him
over on the
everywhere.
Kentucky Atheist
Okay.
quite a lot. In fact, Kentucky Atheist just cleared 600 subscribers last week before, something like that, and it's entirely as his fault because Joe was doing a live stream. And Joe had to go do some stuff, and so Az just kind of stayed around and ran the show, and then proceeded to go on for another 8 hours. He would not get off until they crossed the 600 mark.
Oh my gosh. See, that's a good friend.
Yeah.
That's a really good friend.
Yeah, so all kinds of fun, and
Yeah.
adventures and things in the community, and
Mhm.
oh, and there's Robin Webster with a another gifted membership. Robin's
Nice.
always dropping memberships here and there. Let's
Aw.
see, and that went to Dave, just Dave,
Aw.
nothing else, just Dave.
Well, it was one, so that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, good stuff, good stuff.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's nice to see all the content creators grow, not just subscriber wise, but the communities, the people that
Mhm.
there are to talk to, the people there are to meet and learn from, and what the content creators are producing themselves.
Yeah.
Because the longer a person goes on, the more knowledge they seem to accumulate, and so the
Mhm.
better they are at disseminating information, and
Mhm.
you learn all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a well,
Agreed.
I think a lot of people kind of it's partly the sense of community, it's partly other people who see the world the way I do. Like
Mhm.
there isn't some, magical being controlling my destiny. I have to do things myself, but I don't
Mhm.
have to do it alone. But it's also the knowledge. Like a lot of the counter apologetics require a certain amount of understanding of science or history
Yep.
or Bible study or whatever. And so you're learning all kinds of stuff as the content creators are refuting the various arguments. And I find
Yes.
that really cool too.
Yeah, you're good at that.
One does one's best, although I do get stuff wrong from time to time. And
We all
Leo,
do.
come to mention it, uh,
Mhm.
I accidentally stated that an electron moves at the speed of light, and Leo manifested to correct me. An electron is still matter, it doesn't go light speed.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So, we all make mistakes from time to time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Well, you did the first, what would you call it? The video you did kinda dissecting that call with Jared, with me
Um,
on the line. Would that be
hmm.
like a I don't know.
I mean,
That
it's technically a response or react
yeah,
video, but
yeah, I
hmm.
guess. That was my very first, React video? It was sent to me, and I didn't know what it was because the thumbnail was it was just I thought it was about precepts, and then I clicked on it, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Oh, this is about me." That's well, not about me, but about Jared, but it was the call with me. So that was really well done.
Well,
You
thank
did a
you.
great job.
I'm
Yeah.
I do need to do some work on my thumbnails. Like I know they're attention getting, but it
No,
isn't
no, no, the
always
thumbnail
clear
was
what's
great.
going on.
No, it was great. I'm not critiquing your thumbnail. It was just I was excited to see what it was about. And then I was like pleasantly surprised. Oh, this is a reaction video to that iconic call that it seemed to make kind of waves that week on.
Yeah, it was the talk of the town for a hot minute
It
there.
was it was the talk of the town. So yeah,
Yeah, I
that
mean,
was
I
interesting.
that was all Robin though. I was
Oh,
just
was
kind of
it?
floating along, doing my day, and then um, I
Okay.
haven't been spending as much time over on the line lately. I mean,
Right.
Dave's show is fantastic. It's
Yeah.
always a great time. Dave's a
Yeah.
wonderful person, and he's got
Yeah.
so much knowledge and wisdom to impart to people. Takis does tremendously important work,
Mhm.
so on and so forth. But
Yeah.
I'm also kind of busy.
Yeah,
It
of course.
happens.
Of
Yeah.
course. No, that was
So
just,
I had no idea.
mhm.
Robin just sent me a message. Well, like you saw at the beginning of that video, Robin was like, "Hey, would you take a look at this call and explain why this guy's, not as
Yeah.
smart as he lets on?" I'm like, "Okay." I mean, for
Yeah.
Robin, Robin has done so much for the community, not just random gift
Mhm.
memberships here and there, but helped work out a thing with Dave Warnock to Kentucky Atheist did a giveaway with Dave Warnock's book. Where did I put it?
Okay.
I've got I just got
Childish
it the other
Thing?
day. Yes. I had it right here. I'm not sure where I moved it. But yeah, I happened to win one of the books, but
Oh,
Robin was
cool.
instrumental in setting that up, and there's a bunch of stuff to help Dave out, and
Yes.
Robin's trying to support Joe's channel and spread the word about other channels, and just yeah, she
Nice.
does a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of people who do that, um,
Mhm.
and it's really cool because it helps build the community more, but it
Mhm.
also helps like Dave is still running his organization, and that's important too. Like the things we
Yeah.
talk about online, they're great for ourselves, for our audiences, and so on. But when you have the chance to affect the real world in
Yeah.
more than just spreading ideas, That's really significant.
Yeah. Agreed.
Speak of
Aw.
the devil, Robin sends a
Aw.
$2 super chat. Love Stacie. Ember, have you read Evolution's Rainbow? I don't think I have. I thought for a second it said Gravity's Rainbow, which is a really weird book.
Oh.
Um, I, I, I'll spare you the description. It's weird.
Okay.
Evolution's Rainbow. What is that one? I kind of wanna do a Google.
Okay. Do a Google.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the worst. Whenever I do debate reviews with a Australian
Okay.
friend, Mark Reed. We take turns on each other's channel every other week, and
Mhm.
it seems like one or the other of us is constantly Googling something. Like William Lane Craig will throw out some principle that we've never heard of, and we have to Google it.
That's funny.
It's oh my goodness. It's a fun time though. Like for
Mhm.
example, we did a couple of weeks ago. We did William Lane Craig versus Christopher Hitchens, and
Okay.
a lot of the criticism of Christopher Hitchens was that he didn't offer any arguments. Well, no, he wouldn't because Craig didn't offer any arguments for Hitchens to counter. It
Uh,
basically boiled down to I get a warm fuzzy in my chest, therefore God.
right.
And I'm like, this is supposed to be the best apologist in the
That
world.
they have, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so it looks like Evolution's Rainbow is an innovative celebration of diversity and affirmation of individuality in animals and humans. That's the one sentence blurb, I suppose.
Okay. Hmm.
Something like that. But in this is interesting though. It's actually listed not just on Goodreads, but on JSTOR, the site where peer-reviewed papers and shit often hang out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
interesting. It appears to have um, science content relating to feminism, gayness, transgender criticism, and redefines our understanding of sex, gender, and sexuality. Hmm.
Did you see what Robin said?
No, I'm still on the Google page.
Oh,
I'm bad at my job.
no, it's okay. I wish I
Oh.
could highlight there you go. I was like, "I can highlight the comment." There you go. You are getting a copy tomorrow.
Awesome. More books. Yay. Thank you, Rabbit.
Yay. Okay, Robin's amazing. I
Oh,
just
yeah.
met Robin today, and I already love you.
It doesn't take long.
No. That's what I like about going on other channels is getting to meet new people, so,
Hmm.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons.
Mhm.
Like, it had crossed my mind that I might interview you, and then we do a show on your place where you interview
Yeah,
me. And I'm like,
yeah,
we can do both at once.
and I streamed it to mine, so
Yeah. Yeah.
thank you for that.
It's more fun that way. That way that, I wish there was a way, an easy way, that the chats could talk to each other. I know there's bots that
Oh,
do it, but I don't have one and I haven't figured out how to do it yet. But,
I wonder.
this way people can kind of see each other
Right.
to an I don't know. I just work here.
Yeah, you
Like,
just
for
work here.
example, series here is from over on your channel, and uh,
Oh,
Jedi here is from in my chat. I can tell because there's a little on my display anyway. There's a little paper clip that shows
okay.
people from other streams.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah, I've
yeah,
never done this before.
yeah, it's a really fun time.
That is
Um,
so neat. Okay,
and there's
cool.
Nitty. Hello, Nitty.
Oh, Nitty. Oh, I love
Everyone knows
Nitty.
Nitty. I don't
Everyone.
even have to introduce Nitty.
This is so fun. Okay. We could just say hi to everyone and okay. But
Hmm.
yes, all our friends, all the people.
Yep. Oh yeah. I get sidetracked
I
all the
know it's
bloody
hard. I
time. I'm
know.
I'm like off.
Chat is just like
We could do an hour talking just to the chat
I
easily.
know. I was
Yeah.
watching Nitty doing his stream the other day and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is just like way too much fun." Like watching him like just I think he was dancing and like talking to the people and it's like if you're bored, just stream. see who shows up. Talk to your camera. Talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. I did a stream earlier this week. I was getting ready, as you may have heard, Purple Rhymes with Orange, another
Yes.
well-known community member, does
Mhm.
a 48-hour marathon of streams. Purple organizes it, and then
Okay.
different people do an hour here, 2 hours there, 3 hours. So whatever it is, everybody takes a slot.
Mhm.
My slot is tomorrow at well, same time, 8
Okay.
Eastern or 5 Pacific. And I've got an hour and a half, and then I hand off to Maya Adkison for bad. Well, normally Maya does Bad Science Sunday in that time slot, but
Okay.
this year it's, or well, this week it's, the atheist Christmas stuff, and
Right.
it's a really cool idea. Um, I know Purple's been doing it for years and years, but I'm relatively new to the community. I just had my first anniversary, so it's my first time
Okay.
anyway.
Nice.
Um, I had a point. Where did it go? It
Streaming
got away from me.
committee. We were talking about the
Right. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So I was trying to work out what I was going to do for my stream, and I had a
Mhm.
few different ideas, and so I decided I'd just do a stream while I prepare and like bounce
Okay.
ideas off of the people who came by and try. I mean, we immediately got sidetracked and talked about other things, but you know,
It happens.
yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean it's uh, time of day varies a bit, but I find
Mhm.
that I myself am usually looking for someone who's live in preference to pre-recorded content because there's the community engagement aspect.
Yeah. It's always fun.
And so, a person who goes live at a random time of day, you're going to get a random selection of audience depending on who's available and who's actively browsing the interwebs, but
Yeah.
people are going to come.
Yeah.
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 So it's really nice.
It
There's
is
times
nice.
when I'm editing and I'm like, man, I wish I was live instead. Editing is so much work.
Yeah, I haven't done that, so, yeah.
Aha.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pluses and minuses. The pre-recorded content tends to do a lot better than the lives. The
Oh,
algorithm seems to like it more. Um,
okay. That's good to
yeah,
know.
but it's also a ton more work,
Mhm.
and you don't get that direct interaction element. So
Mhm.
you can do different things, but it's less fun.
Right.
You know. So
Plus and
pluses and
minus.
minuses.
That's what I just said, yeah.
Mhm.
We're on the
Jinx.
same wavelength. Yeah.
I want Now I'm wondering where that came from because I say it so often that people actually tease me about it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
ooh,
it's fun. Um,
that's
what
funny.
what time is Ember? Ember is presently 20:43 Eastern Standard, but I assume you mean the show tomorrow. It's at 8 Eastern for you people who prefer PMs and things.
There you go.
Ember is timelessness. I wish. I tell you, if you could have seen me even 10 years ago, you think I'm pretty now, I'd be stunning.
Aw, you're adorable.
One does one's best. But
Mhm.
speaking of content and production and all those things,
Mhm.
what are your goals for the year ahead? What are you hoping to do
Oh,
or planning to do or things of that nature?
I think so I think, like, my mom and I, our goal for our channel is just to, like, continue growing it and just, um, continue booking people for our channel. We are at 100 or sorry, 863 subscribers right now. So we wanna get to that 1,000 and start just I feel like once you kinda get to a certain number, the algorithm will kinda pick you up and just grow. Um and yeah, just we enjoy doing it together. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, it's kind of like right now it's like a passion project. And the other thing that I is kind of a goal for 2024 is I'd really like for us to get to a conference, like an atheist conference in 2024. Um, and yeah, so that is something that is on our agenda. I'm not sure which one, but some kind of meetup where we can actually see people in person and just get maybe meet some of our friends. Um, yeah, so
Mhm.
that's kind of one of our goals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd been hearing about Better a couple of years ago, Faithless
Mhm.
Forum. A lot of stuff got derailed by the pandemic and hasn't come back, and so on and so forth. Um, the only one I've heard for sure is definitely happening. Well, definitely with an asterisk because it depends on funding and
Mhm.
presenters and so forth. But Thomas, off the chain atheist, did what is it, National Atheist Day? I forget what it's called, but it was, there were advertisements for it everywhere because everybody, Seth Andrews and Owen from Telltale, and all across the country people
Okay.
were. It was the,
The
the big
American
gathering they
Atheist?
did. I forget what it was called, but it was in Austin because Thomas is in Austin, and he got the
Oh,
ACA to
okay.
help, and he got
Okay.
funding from the city to put it on. And
Right.
so yeah, they made a big deal out of it, and a
Mhm.
bunch of people came. Thomas contacted
Westbrook?
me about, no.
Oh, a different oh, sorry, you said
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
Yeah.
Although he does a thing too. I understand Owen gave him the rights to the name Faithless Forum, so maybe
Mm,
that'll happen next year too. I don't know. Um, but that's the only one I've heard about so far.
okay. I
With
know
the possible exception of LineCon. I know there was talk of having LineCon during the
yeah,
eclipse, but I don't know if that's for sure.
LineCon, I think is still there's talks. There's also BajaCon, which is happening it's in Canada, it's in Sarnia, it's happening in August. So,
Hmm.
that one is an option. There's also the American Atheists Convention, I think it's called, and that happens during Easter weekend. So there's a few, but I definitely oh, and there's also one that's happening in happens in Calgary usually in Canada. Um, so I don't know. I have to just keep my keep my calendar, but I don't know which one. I just know that I want to plan to go to at least one. So,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
so many people I would just love
Yeah.
to meet. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Austin seems pretty cool. I've only
Never
driven
been.
through it, but
Never been.
yeah. Um,
Not BajaCon
Better.
in Narnia, Aunt Jer. It's Sarnia, Ontario. And that one is it has a really big draw. Like there was a lot of people that went. I wanted to go last year. There was Seth Andrews, Dave Warnock, Aaron Raw, um, Drew Bakius. I'm forgetting people. Matt was supposed to be there, but he ended up having to do a video for some reason. There was just a ton of people that were at that one. So Joshua Bowen.
Oh,
Um,
Dr. Josh, yeah.
yeah, yeah, there was a lot of people. So, yeah, that's actually a really cool one. And because I'm in Canada, that one would be ideal because then I don't have to convert my money for expenses. But plane tickets there, I had never even heard of Sarnia until I was like, "Where is that?" So, but
Yeah,
that'd be
it's
fun.
kind of sort of near the I think I saw an
Yeah,
ad for one for this year, but
yeah.
um
And I think David Fitzgerald is actually part of it as well.
hmm.
There's a huge lineup of people. Oh, Hemet Meta.
Oh, Friendly
There's a
Atheist, yeah.
lot of people.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So,
so glad it's not in Narnia because I'd hate to be
yeah,
stuck in C.S.
in a
Lewis land.
wardrobe? I don't wanna go through a wardrobe.
And what's up with the Turkish delight? Why
Ooh,
so I
I know.
after I read the stories, I had to try it
Me
because it's
too.
it's and it's just not that great. I mean, I
No,
don't know. Maybe the modern version is crap. Like, 100 years ago, Pepsi had actual cocaine in it, so it was a hell of a lot
that's
more
what
of a
I've
pick me
heard.
up. You know?
Yes. Actually, we have a chocolate bar here called Big Turk, um, and it's like a gelatin, candy in the middle covered with chocolate.
Hmm.
It's really good. Um, it's way better than actual Turkish delight, so, yeah. I don't know if you guys have that in the States, Big Turk.
It doesn't ring a bell, but it's
No.
we have stuff that's kind of sort of similar, and we might. I don't know. My teeth are very bad, so I haven't been able to have candy in like 15 years.
Right.
It's awful.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
miss
Big Turk
chocolate
is
so
really
much.
good. Aw.
Apparently,
Yes.
there's a NanoCon in Nashville. I
Wait,
think I've heard
what?
that name before.
I
NanoCon.
have heard of that.
It caught
Nashville,
my
hey?
eye. Let's see. Yearly gathering for happy heathens living in the Bible Belt. We do it in Tennessee because, duh, Nashville is awesome. That's true.
I'm
I've
going
I've
to Nashville.
I've made a point to stop there. The Parthenon is cool. There's a Greek restaurant. There's oh my goodness. Believe there's an aquarium. I don't know. There's
Oh,
so much. There's so many places that are so freaking cool. But yeah, it caught my attention because it's very similar to the Comic Con I run in Watertown. That's called NocoCon.
okay. I have heard of NanoCon. I didn't realize it was in Nashville. Um, but I'm going to Nashville in February. So too bad
Well,
it's not happening in February.
you'll have to reschedule, or they'll have to reschedule.
They
One or the other. Yeah.
that would be amazing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess the good news is there's things happening. We just gotta
There
keep our
is,
eyes
yeah.
out for the stuff we can get to.
Yeah, and as if you're connected in the community and then you'll find out about these things. So, and it's easy. Just stay I don't know if you're on Facebook, if you're following people on YouTube, then you'll find out. So,
Eventually, somebody will mention it. Hopefully.
eventually,
I know. We
hopefully.
need like a central message board. Like,
I
here's all the things
know.
happening everywhere, or something
That's a
like
good
that.
idea. Yeah. But I think a lot of the like because like Seth Andrews there's also one in Florida. I just remembered one. There's one that happens in Florida. Um, I forget when it is, but I know Seth Andrews speaks at that one. So I'm just remembering
Oh yeah.
all
There's
the ones.
also the regional events, like the state level free thinkers associations and such.
Okay.
I've seen a couple because Seth,
So
Oklahoma
everyone
hometown boy.
follow Seth. He speaks at almost all of them.
Yeah. Between Seth
Pretty
and
much.
Aaron, you probably will
Yeah.
know about all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. He does like his whole speaking tour and yeah, he goes to a lot of them. So
hmm Yeah. So there we go. Now we have our central message board. Seth
it's
is the
Seth.
designated info center.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And just a little plug really quick, seeing as we're talking about Seth a lot. On December 26th, he'll be dropping an interview that I did with him. So
Oh, nice.
keep an eye out for that. So
Yeah, a
yay.
little Christmas present for all of us.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Seth is so nice.
He's so great.
I know some of the stuff he's been. I mean, he's always witty and insightful and informative and humorous and compassionate. But some of the stuff
Fine.
he's been doing lately, like, well, what immediately springs to mind is when he thought it would be a good idea to bring Erica and Forrest together for a show.
Okay. I just
What could
watched the one he did
possibly
with
go wrong?
Forrest, but yes, the two of them. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That would be yeah. I just
hmm
watched the one that he did, with Forrest the other day. Everyone needs to go watch that. Um, it's, Forrest looking at the skull with a Santa hat, and it's something about it costs Christmas costs a lot or something. It's so good. It's such a good video, so everyone needs to watch that one.
Yeah, I started to, but then I got distracted and YouTube didn't bring it back up for me, so
Go to
I
your
do
watch
have to track it back
history.
down.
Your
Well,
watch
that's
history.
I watch so much stuff that it's
Okay.
like way. As soon as I pick up my phone, it plays like 5 different shorts at me. I'm like, why
Yeah,
are you
that's
like
true.
this? Come on now, come on now.
It's so good.
Beth Andrews. I'm just gonna go look it up right now. Uh, oh shoot, he just did a stream today with Seth in a Christmas hat.
Yes, I watched it.
Yeah, it's neat.
He's great.
Yeah, see, I was I did a show earlier today. I was doing a review on a particularly pernicious, transphobic, Christian
Oh, I
fundamentalist
saw
bigot.
that. Or
Yeah,
I need to
and
watch it. I saw that you put it up, but I need to go and watch it.
oh, it was an oof. I'm gonna try to edit it down into something a little bit more palatable. But yeah, the
Okay.
stream is up. But then after that, I I've been editing right up until now, and so
Oh,
life gets interesting.
yeah.
As we often say, life gets lifey. Okay, I found it.
I
It's
like that.
beginning to cost a lot like
That's what it
Christmas.
is.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
add it to my watch later. And if Pragmatic hasn't beat me yet, I'll put a link to it in the chat also for anybody else who wants to watch later.
There you go. Yeah. It's it's really good. I loved it.
Yeah, all kinds of fun stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's one of the downsides of being aware of so many people in the community is it's impossible to keep up with
To keep
everyone.
up.
You're
Yeah.
always catching up with someone else later.
Yeah, for sure. Have you seen Mind Shift Skeptic? Brandon?
Brandon? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's great.
Actually, Asho tried to get the two of us to talk at one point. It didn't quite like we couldn't connect or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I've
He's
seen a few of his
fantastic.
videos, left him chats, and he's responded and things. So we're aware of each other.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay, good. As long as you're aware, because he's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. He does a really. It's how to describe it. There's elements of Paulogia, but also elements of Dr. Josh. The way
Okay,
he'll like
yeah.
go through. I mean, he doesn't do a Hovind impression that I'm aware of, but
No,
you know.
but the way that he will go through, like, the Bible study, I like how he does his Bible studies, but then he does the apologetics, and then he does, like, his personal like, his story, like, he does a good arrangement of different things, like, a good variety, so he's
Yeah,
he's
it,
another
it's
really good content creator.
oh for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just freaking exploded this year.
Yeah, he has. He
Mhm.
popped up on my YouTube one day, and I was like, "Who's this guy?" And then I was like, binge, 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 and then all of a sudden I'm like, "He's taken off," which rightfully
Mhm.
so. Yeah, so
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm seeing a lot of things in the chat about his baldness. Um, it could be. It could be. I've heard. So there's a few people in the community who are very very bald, and there's definitely a pro baldness bias
right.
floating. I've thought about going bald myself, which actually would make wigs easier
There
because
you
like
go.
it's taking my hair for freaking ever to grow. I cut my hair in May, and this is as
Okay.
long as it's gotten. I'm like, I should just get wigs. Fuck it.
There you go. You could take biotin. Biotin will help your hair grow.
Hmm. Biotin, you say?
Biotin. Biotin.
Hmm. Oh, vitamin B7.
There you go. Yeah.
Check my multivitamin. Do you have B7 multivitamin?
You have them just sitting right there?
Oh, absolutely. I can't
Okay.
forget about them, It's important to have proper nutrition. Biotin, 30 milligrams, 100% daily allowance. Okay, I got that covered.
See, you're growing your hair and I'm chopping off mine. I
We
just
should
cut
trade.
mine the other day. Oh, that's so funny.
Eh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Life is trippy.
it
It's a
is.
fun time.
It
Um,
is.
yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to find more ways to be more expressive in
Yeah,
a way that
I
both
like it.
makes me happy and looks nice.
Good.
Yeah, it's rough. I
Mm.
feel like I'm going to reach a point. Um, well, I do need a different hat, definitely. I mean, I love this hat. It's
Those
fantastic,
hats are cool.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't fit the vibe I'm going for. So um,
Hmm.
I don't know. Aunt Jur suggested fascinators the other day, which
Oh,
are
yeah.
fascinating. I hadn't heard
Yeah.
about those before.
You hadn't?
I hadn't.
Really?
Yeah, I've
I
been
love fascinators.
Pretty much just working for the last, you know, 30 years. Like all the time. I know
Yeah.
nothing about anything.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, we're figuring it out. We're
Yeah.
making progress, going along.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
All
you
kinds
can
of
just
fun stuff.
find different ways to express just easily. Like you have your pearls and your.
This was Aunt Jer's suggestion too.
There you
Um,
go.
yeah, I got two new dresses the other day. One of
I
them even
saw the
has
one.
pockets. I
I
was
saw
freaking
I
excited.
was like, "Okay, you understand. Pockets are where it's at."
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Definitely the most important thing. Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, when I did that one video and then I did the
Mhm.
Q&A after, and Aunt Jer
Okay.
was in the chat and was like, "You need something for your neck." And it's not ideal. They're just plastic, but they're what I had immediately available. I've got some yellowish
Mhm.
ones too.
Oh, those are pretty.
Yeah, I try to um match with what I'm going for. Like since this
Yeah.
one is the trans flag colors, I figured white would be better because it's one of the trans
Okay.
flag colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Trying to be fashiony, but I really got to find my other necklaces too because they're all right, but you know they're there.
Mhm.
I have
Yeah.
so much to do. I was trying to find. I have because I was a photographer for a really long time. I have all kinds of
Oh,
weird shit from being a photographer, and I've got nail polish around here somewhere
okay.
because it looks more like blood than any of the fake blood products.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, it's nail polish, so I want, that way, because I'm always gesturing. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if there were color on the end of these
I was
things?
gonna say nail polish is a really good way just to just try it out and express and yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it's just as well. I mean, honestly, I'd rather have purple because purple
Right.
purple is the best.
Mhm. Oh, I see. Yeah, you have purple on our little name thingies, so
Yep,
purple is
it's
nice.
made it the well, they gave me a choice. Of course, I'm gonna pick it. But yeah, like my coffee cup is purple. My umbrella's out in the car, but it's purple. My phone case is purple. It's just yeah,
Yeah,
purple is the best.
purple's nice. Your background even looks a little purple.
Well, this is actually it's also from photography. It's
Okay.
exactly 50% gray, which means it'll be whatever the hell color I throw on it.
Oh.
Although, weirdly enough, I think it's mostly my camera doing auto color adjustment because I have a yellow light on me here and a white light over there. And well, that light's just weird. Um, the room I'm in doesn't actually have a light per se, so I've got my two studio lights. And then I had a lamp, but it it's one of those fluorescents with the little mini tubes,
Okay.
and something went wrong with it, and I'm like, fuck it, I can't replace the bulbs anyway. So I got rid of that, and I took another photography prop, which is these lights that actually flicker the way firelight does.
Okay.
So yeah, every so often you'll see right up here in the corner of my frame, just a little bit of a flicker. That's those lights.
Right.
We're just winging everything
We are.
around
We're just
here.
it's
Hmm.
just like a nice little visit.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
All right, I know I keep tangenting. I'm the worst in the world at this, or
It's
you
all
know.
good. You're not the worst in the world. I'm
Well,
pretty
there.
chill, Ember.
Oh, I know. You're very cool that way, but like trying to get something done. I know there are other people who are prone to tangents. Mark
Uh,
Reed is also tangent prone. Kentucky
okay.
Atheist. I think most people have at least a little bit of tangentitis or whatever you want to call that. But I'm like constantly just herring off in random directions.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's a fun time.
Mhm.
Oh, let's see. I actually it's been a while. Like I said, I was away for a couple of months. I've
Mhm.
only done one interview since I've been back, and that was a very, very last minute thing. But I actually do have a list of questions for these shows around here somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we're completely out of order, as you might expect. But
You're
the
awesome.
normal the normal question number two is,
Mhm.
what is it that started to change your mind about, these beliefs that you've been invested in for
Mm.
years and years and years, and then,
Mm.
here you are now. What was the tipping point for you?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So it wasn't like one particular thing. It was um for Queen of Tangents, just saying. Um, it wasn't one particular thing. It was like it okay, so when it finally snowballed and was just going along, it was in 2021, and we had moved away from our church, our community, from everything. Our kids were in a Christian private school, and we had moved, and it was like during like COVID still. And I know a lot of people had deconverted during COVID,
Mm,
and a lot of people were like questioning what was going on. And I think I was just starting to see like a lot of the similarities between cults, Christianity. I was seeing how people who were very anti-vax were evangelicals, and I
hmm
was starting to see the correlation with, like, why do they believe this way, and why do they seem to ignore truth and logic and reason and all these things that are very, like, simple and reasonable. So, that was kind of where I was like I started to do a deep dive into, like, I was just seeing the correlation between Christians and ignoring a lot of facts.
hmm
And, I was talking to my husband a lot about that because he was following the science of the vaccine and COVID, and, um, he I yeah, he was just following it very, very, closely, and I was just like, "What's going on with these Christians?" And maybe there's something up with the Bible, maybe there's something up with Christianity because it's all the Christians that are ignoring the truth of the vaccine and this. And so, um, I started to just really examine what I was believing in all facets of my belief system. So that's what pretty much snowballed it. And from there, I felt kind of free because we weren't involved in a church at that time because we had moved away. Um, I started just looking up things about Christianity that I kind of was sort of questioning for a long time, and I was coming up with these answers that were making sense, but it was scary because I thought, "Well, if what if I go to hell? What if I'm wrong?" And,
mm,
I was bouncing these ideas off of my husband while I was doing this, and he he was a really good person to do this with because he never really bought into the whole idea of religion. Even though we had been together for, what was it, like probably 16 years at that point. He was a supportive husband as far as like, yes, we'll go to church. He tried for me, but he was just a very reasonable, logical thinker. Um, and so when I came to him with my questions, he was just he was a really good sounding board is what I'm saying.
yeah,
And, yeah, he didn't try to sway me either way. He just gave me the facts and the truth. And so everything that I was coming, up, like, when I was looking up things online and discovering, like, "Hey, maybe what have been believing isn't real," and I would go to him, he's kinda like, "Yeah, actually, I think you're coming to the right conclusions, and I'm really happy about that." He wasn't pushing me, he just kinda let me come to them on my own, and, um, it was all me the whole time, and he was really proud of me, as I was coming through it because he's like, "Nobody pushed you through this, nobody was influencing you, this was all you, because he knew I was a very, like, dedicated Christian. It was my entire identity, and, he was just really proud of me because there was nobody that was, like, influencing me from start to finish. It was just all my just critical thinking, so, yeah, I don't know.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. And that's the best way to do it, because it has to be that way, because if somebody did push you and then someone else tried to influence you later and had
Yeah,
that little piece they could grab onto, oh, you only think that because so and so made
exactly.
you think that,
And
it's
I'm
it's rough.
glad that I wasn't influenced by anyone else. I'm glad that this all was just me kind of, like, going from one step to the next, kinda like, "Oh, well, this doesn't make sense. Let me find out why. Okay, let me find out why," and going from one thing to the other. I'm glad it wasn't because someone else was leading me and I was like, "Oh, I wanna know why," because they're finding this out. It was literally just my logical brain kicked in all of a sudden, and I was like, "No, this all sounds like bullshit, and I need to find out why." And I kinda was keeping the cards close to my chest, and every so often, I was kind of open up to him, but I was doing this all just kinda scared, but just it was all me, and so when I finally said to him one day, I was like, "I need to tell you something, and I've never said these words. I don't believe in God." But I was like, "I'm scared to say this, but I need to know how it feels," and that's when I said, "I don't believe in God," and I was like, "Oh, what's gonna happen now?" And he was like, "I don't think you're wrong, but just take it slow," and I'm like, "Well, I'm already there, but I will take it slow," and he was just like, "I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy that you're finally on this side of reason. You're on this side of reality." So, he didn't, like, um he wasn't like, spurring me on, he was just kind of like, do what you need to do and let's just see what happens, but also don't go through some kind of like existential crisis. I'm not going to like make you do anything
Hmm.
that you're not ready to do. So he really was the best person for me throughout all of this to just kind of bounce it all off of. And once it all happened, we had the best conversations we've ever had because before that I was kind of like I would only let him say so much before I would shut the conversation down, like, "No, we're sinning," or, "No, I don't wanna hear that." And now it's just like, "No, we can just have these open, honest conversations because this is what life is about." Like, you can have your opinion, I can have my opinion, and let's just hear it. Let's just talk. So, it's been good for our relationship, so,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good you were in a place where you could both respect each other as people when you
Yeah.
weren't on the same side. That's
He
really super important.
He's super respectful. I apologized a lot after for all the years where I was just like, "I don't wanna hear that. I can't hear that." It was that cognitive dissonance was so
Hmm.
strong in my head that I just couldn't hear some of the things, and he was so respectful because he was just like, "No, I love you more than your beliefs, and I'm not gonna mess up our marriage and our relationship because I need to say what I wanna say." He's like, "No, you mean more to me than that." So, he never pushed things, but he's a good guy.
Hell yeah. You
Yeah.
touched on a couple of things that ring bells for me. The first is that inconsistency, seeing that kind of cult thinking, the conspiracy thinking.
Mhm.
Um,
100%.
I frequently, I'm saying, when you deliberately disable your critical thinking skills, you make yourself vulnerable to all kinds of other nonsense.
Mhm.
And we're really seeing the fruits of that particular sowing these days. Greg Locke, the
Oh
infamous
my god.
Baptist demon guy, witches, witches,
Mhm.
witches. Horrible human being. He's
Yeah.
outright. He's done book burnings. He outright says,
Mhm.
"Don't see a doctor, come see me, and I'll cast the demon out of you that's making you sick." Like literally, the guy has blood on his hands.
Oh,
But
yeah.
his cult in his church there in Mount Juliet, he's mad because they're all turning to flat earthers. And he's like, why would you believe something so obviously stupid? And then he turns around and says, I know we haven't been to the moon. I know evolution's not real. I know the election was stolen. And I'm like, that's why, Greg.
That's why.
They
Oh
believe
my
every
gosh.
other conspiracy. You're the
Yeah.
one who's not caught up yet.
Yeah. Oh my
it's
gosh.
it's
Yeah.
the same thing. It's just a lesser degree with the other, the more open-minded ish sects of evangelical Christianity.
Yeah.
They don't degrade as quickly, but there's that same mental pathogen
Yeah.
vulnerability. Like they have no mental immune system, so ideas just
No.
rip right through congregations.
Yeah. No,
It's
he's
scary.
kind of nuts.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's more than a little nuts. The
Yeah.
other thing, goodness, my heater's running because it's cold up here, and that makes
Oh
the air
yeah.
dry. And
Yeah.
oh, what can you do? The fear of hell. I
Hmm.
have a very good friend, former partner, in fact. And we managed to stay friends after. She left Christianity around about confirmation age. You know,
Okay.
her family continued to make her going to church, but she didn't believe anymore. She's bopped around to various other ideas. She tried out Kabbalah, and she tried out Wicca, and uh, toyed with Buddhism a little bit, but nothing really stuck because once, as so many people like to say, once you see behind the curtain, you can't
Right.
unsee it, you know? And but even to this day, she still has episodes of like crippling fear of hell. Like, what if I'm wrong? Like
Mhm.
eternal torture.
That's so
Yeah,
sad.
I know. And the fact that people have had this done to them and then
Hmm.
turn around and do it to their own children, I
Yeah.
do not understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a big one. That's one of the things. Even if people don't really believe anymore, it can still keep them in
Hmm.
church just because of that fear.
Yeah.
And then there's connected to that, there's the entire afterlife thing, right? Like
Hmm.
if you don't believe, you're not going to get eternal life. If you don't believe, you're never going to see great grandma when you meet up with St. Peter, and all of these sorts of things. And so people get emotionally invested. In a way, Christianity has evolved to be like the ultimate guilt trip, carrot and stick kind of situation. Like,
Yeah.
here's, you can have everything you've ever wanted, immortality, reunion with your family, and avoid this horrible punishment. All you got to do is just put your money in the plate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Praise Jesus' name.
Yeah. Yep.
It's I mean, they've had thousands of years to refine it, so I
Oh, for
guess that kind
sure.
of makes sense, but oh,
Yeah.
it gets me all worked up.
I know. I know. I don't disagree.
Yeah. Well, on a lighter note,
Hmm.
what would you say your best moment is so far since coming out as a public persona?
Oh, well, that's a good I've never had that question before. Hmm. That's a good question. My best moment. Okay. I would say a public persona, like on just being okay. I would have to say there's been so many times where I have had messages from random people that have just said, like, thank you for speaking out and just telling your story. And like, this is the downstairs of my house, this room. Okay. And my husband sits here and works all day. And I'll be upstairs where our kitchen is, our living room is, and I'll come running downstairs to where he sits right here. And I'll be like, look at this message. Look what this person just said. And he'll look at me and he'll say, that's why you are doing what you're doing. That's why you're speaking out. That's why you say what you say. And he just reminds me, like, That's exactly why you're doing this." And it just when he gets happy for those people that they find comfort in just the message or like from hearing what I have to say, um, and he just reminds me and he encourages me to just keep talking about it, and he finds, um, encouragement from these conversations. I think that's probably what brings a lot of happiness and to me. Um, I think that's been the best part is just seeing how encouraging he has been throughout this because he never went through any of the religious trauma or any of the fear of hell or any of that, but he's just been a huge encouragement through all of this, and I love that. And the other part that I thought of coming out of it is the very very beginning is when I realized, okay, this is the only life that I have. I'm not going to live forever. I'm not going to die and then all of a sudden wake up in heaven and I'm going to be reunited with everyone I love and I'm going to just live for eternity. I remember waking up and walking to my living room window and I have a really beautiful view of where I live and I would just stand there and I would just take it all in and be like, "Oh my goodness." Like I would before I used to think, "Oh, wow, God made this incredible earth," and I thought it was beautiful. But once I realized, no, this was like millions and millions and millions and millions of years to get to what I'm seeing right now, and I took it all in and just saw the beauty in what evolution did. I actually found that more incredible than God speaking it into existence in seconds. I found more beauty in just how it took all these years to get where I was right then. And so that was just amazing for me. So I'd say those are the 2 biggest takeaways in the last
Yeah.
couple of years. So, yeah.
Yeah, those are both really, really good ones. I mean, for one thing, knowing that you've made a difference, that's really huge, because that's kind of like the ultimate goal is to help somebody.
That
And
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I've heard Paula Gia say more than once that, 100,000 subscribers and up and up and up. If he helps just one person, all of it is worthwhile.
I never knew he said that, but that's what I truly feel when I get just a couple messages every month or so or couple weeks, and I'm just like, "That's why I do this. That's why
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
wanna talk is just so that those people don't feel alone." So, yeah.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
on the other thing, that's I've had a couple different perspectives. I managed to avoid religious trauma for the most part. My grandmother
Mhm.
kept trying to get me into church. It just didn't work because I was one of those kids who kept asking questions, and then the ministers would ask her not to bring me back again. Um, I had a few people in school who tried to convert me, but they weren't apologists. And fortunately, I was still young enough when the Ken Ham Bill 9 debate happened. And,
Okay.
I have to agree with Ken Ham, him of the were you there argument.
Right.
If you don't believe one part of the Bible, why would you believe any of the rest of it? And I'm like,
Mm.
Ken, that's a really good point.
Right.
But there's certain times and places where you just kind of freeze and you realize you're in one of those moments you're going to remember for the rest of your life, and you try to take everything in. And when that happens, it's more than just the moment. It's
Mhm.
the knowledge of all the time that went into that tree over there growing and the
Yes.
land over there eroding and the grass spreading, and then it goes back further, the species evolving. There's times when I look at an apple or a
Mm.
piece of broccoli and I think about all the generations of human effort that went into making it the way it is now.
Mhm.
Or I think one of my favorites is when somebody tells me they feel like they don't matter. I I forget, I may have gotten it from a poem in high school or something, but to paraphrase the idea, it's consider why you're here. It's
Right.
not just because your parents loved each other. It's because their parents loved each other enough to make them and their
Right.
parents and their parents and their parents. And there's 1,000 generations of living, breathing humans with their own dreams and goals and ideas who fought and strove and struggled
Mm,
against all that the world and all of human history could throw at them just so you could be here today.
mhm.
Holy crap, that's amazing.
That's actually really beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
nice to have a few of those things hanging
It
around.
is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, like I said, I've never been like super invested in any particular religion, but I did
Mhm.
try to find religion even after my
Yeah.
grandmother moved out. I've hung out with the pagan folk and done a few other things. And there's
Mhm.
times when I have experiences that are close to what religious people describe as like the
Right.
the the burning in the bosom or the touch of the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit or whatever. But those times when I'm out in nature and I can feel the weight of the
Yeah.
millennia all around me, when I look up into the night sky and I see a star millions of years back in time, it just doesn't even compare. The real magic is so much more magical than the made up bullshit.
Yeah. It really is. That's exactly how I was feeling in those first few months. I just saw life in a totally different way. I had those, like, rose-colored glasses come off, and I was like, "Wow, this
Mhm.
is incredible."
Yeah,
So
you can see so much more.
mhm. Yeah.
It's oh yeah. You know, I don't like to toot my own horn, but
Mhm.
considering what you had to say and then the
Mhm.
conversation we had about it, I do have to agree that was a pretty good question.
It's a really good question. I had never been asked that. Keep that one and ask it
Oh yeah,
again.
it's on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Let's see,
should
which one is that?
toot
That's
your
one,
own
two,
horn.
three, four, five. That's number six. I didn't
Okay.
actually number them.
Mhm.
Because
No, you're
sometimes
good.
I go out of order. Like there's some that are topical. Like if a
Right.
person, like I think it's oh shoot, I can't remember her name. Eve. Eve was framed,
It was
maybe.
framed? Oh,
It
yeah, yeah.
could be. It could be. But like, people who are specifically advocating a little bit extra against, say, purity culture. So
Right. Oh, yeah.
I've got a note on here for, a person of such inclination. What are
Yeah.
your feelings on purity culture? Because I'm expecting a rant to happen, but when somebody's really, really,
Passionate about
yes,
that
passionate about,
topic?
or
Yeah.
I mean any topic really,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I can go off on all kinds of rants. Forrest can go off on unbelievable rants.
No. Forest?
I know. I've got one from I interviewed him for the Comic Con, not for this channel, but for the
Okay.
convention shit, because he was a guest last year. I was like, I need more science. Come do science.
Right.
And it was great. He's a sweetie. If you
He's
can
so
believe it,
nice.
he's even more wholesome in person than he seems to be on the air. It's
Oh
unreal.
my gosh. He's
I know.
amazing.
He really is. We had a VIP party Saturday night between the 2 days of the convention, and I told all the guests who appeared that of course they're welcome to come. And Forrest dropped by, and we had a karaoke over on one side of the thing, and artists doing drawings on the other side, and people mingling in between. And so Forrest went over to the karaoke, and he sang the theme song of a children's song or a children's TV show. Um,
Aw.
yeah, I was like, this man is just, it's unreal how adorable he
So
is.
nice. He's
Yeah.
okay, whenever he says, "I've never had a bad day in my life," he reminds me of my middle son, who that's like he used to always say, "This is the best day ever." So, like, That's like my middle son, the way he looks at life, just never had a bad day. So,
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
really, really appreciate that. There were times when I was younger when I felt that way, and then bad things happened,
Mhm.
as they often do in life.
Of course.
But then I see people like Forrest, and I know a few other people like that, like
Mhm.
a fella named Doug, who he's on the Renaissance Fair circuit. He plays a character named Miguel. Um,
Okay.
yeah, he told me once he's constantly high energy and funny, and everything is amazing. And I'm like, my dude, you are my spirit animal. Like everything is amazing.
Yeah,
That's how do you maintain that enthusiasm all the time? And he's like, well, it's not all the time. You
yeah.
don't see me 24/7. There are breaks. There's downtime. You have to recharge and things. And he's like, but before I go on, I think to myself, twinkle, damn it.
Twinkle.
I'm
I
like, I
love it.
fucking love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, we have more presents. Merry Christmas to a whole bunch of
Yay.
people.
Wow.
Um, Left-handed Jedi. It scrolled away on me because I was ranting again. 5 memberships. Awesome. And those went
Wow.
to Riri the Renate. Oh, McAfee or McCase. I cannot read. I swear. Jimmy H, Hyperheim 19, and Robert Madewell. Cool. Congratulations, folks. Thank you, Jedi. And
You get a
I'll
lot
throw
of
some more
memberships. That's
random
amazing.
emojis. Yeah.
That is so nice.
Yeah. Well, when you let people vote on the emojis,
Mhm.
they like them more. Or at least I think so anyway.
So nice.
Do. Sparkle, damn you. I try. I do try. I honestly I feel like I'm a bit more sparkly since that video. I never hid the fact that I was trans. Whenever it
Right.
came up, I was very open about it.
Mhm.
But since that video about when do we know? Actually, it was before that. I was on
Okay.
someone else's stream. I should backstory. Um,
Mhm.
so I designed this dress in 2019 because
Okay.
I wanted to have like all the dresses I could find that had the trans flag on them had the flag horizontally and horizontal. No, no, you don't. No,
Okay.
it looks cute when it's vertical.
Yes.
So I designed
I
the
agree.
dress for myself,
Mhm.
and then COVID happened, and I
Mhm.
I nearly died. It
Oh.
was really, really bad. And
Oh.
in the convalescent period, I couldn't move around very much. I ended up gaining a bunch of weight, couldn't fit into the dress. So in the closet it went. Then I did that over the road stint for a couple of months, and the company I was with paid starvation wages. So I literally ate nothing but crackers for 2 months. Nothing, like literally. So I lost a bunch of weight. So I was on
Mhm.
this other stream, and people were talking. I don't remember exactly how the conversation flowed, but people were talking about dresses and pockets and weight loss and the things just came together. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go see if I can fit into it since I lost a bunch of weight. So I turned my
Yeah.
camera off and I went, and it doesn't fit as well as I'd like.
Mhm.
I still need to lose a little bit more weight, but I can actually get into it. And I
Well,
was
that's
so fucking excited.
yeah. That's an accomplishment. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't something that I set out to do. I didn't want to eat
No,
crackers
but
for 2 months.
no, but still, like, the fact that you got to go in the dress that you had designed and, like,
Hmm.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
exciting.
and it just it it made I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Like I've never really had to come out because I've never really, been hiding. But being able to like publicly show it, I don't know, it changed something. I
Nice.
feel a lot more sparkly lately. Like there've been moments, and these people in chat, they say such sweet things. They've had me on the verge of tears a couple of times.
Aw.
Yeah, it's been a trip. I don't know. I told my housemates about it, and um the one that I know best, um I mean, I've lived with them for a few years now, but the one I knew before and the other one is his husband. And he said it sounds a lot like his coming out story, and I'm like,
Mhm.
maybe, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like it because I wasn't revealing any new information. I was just like being more myself.
Mhm.
But I can see that's important too because there's a lot of people who can't
Yeah.
for social pressures or they'll be ostracized by their family or whatever. And so just like being an open advocate for atheism and secular society and critical thinking and science and humanism,
Mhm.
it's just as important, I think, to be visibly trans because
Yeah.
then those people know they're not alone. And at the very least, it normalizes it for everybody else or helps to. I mean,
Mm.
I don't have
Yeah,
any illusions about being like a giant influencer or anything, but we
no,
work we work with what we've got.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you, Carrie.
Aw, I love Carrie Ann.
I know she's almost as omnipresent as pragmatic.
I was gonna say, the 2 of them are, like, neck and neck. Yeah.
Mhm.
Aw.
Have you ever been over to DJ Oz's channel, The Flavor?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah, you can usually find one or both of them
yeah,
anytime he's on.
yeah. I haven't been recently because it's been a while, but I have, and yeah, I love Oz.
Yeah, I haven't been as much as I'd like to. It's like everything
Mm.
else. I haven't been as
There's
much
so
as I'd
many.
like to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it feels like there's always almost always something on that you can tune into and find your friends, so which is
Hmm.
good. Mhm.
Yeah, and the more people you know, the more channels you have on your list, the greater chance of finding someone who's on, and
Yeah,
that's always a plus
exactly.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Aw, Purple, I'm glad I could help. Um, yeah, Purple's been openly, publicly trans for quite a while. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I didn't realize I was helping, but I am glad.
That's
I'm
awesome.
I find I'm having mixed thoughts about the in public part of like this is public. Anybody in the
Oh,
world can see this.
okay.
But like going like to the grocery store or something, I
Okay.
I feel like I need to continue to work on my look a little bit before I try that out. But
Mm.
maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Well, at least you're starting somewhere, right?
Yeah. I mean, who knows? It all depends on a lot of things, right? Like
Right.
um most things you can do cost money. Like,
Right.
buying more dresses or new hats
Yeah.
and so on.
Yeah.
My goodness, women's clothes are expensive.
Are they?
Why are things like this? I don't know.
I don't know.
Um, but I mean, if all else fails, the nearest decent sized city, Syracuse, does a
Okay.
does a fairly decent pride parade every year. I could just go
Oh,
to that.
okay, there you go.
I'd have to wait a little while. I get so impatient. I'm very excitable.
I'm very excitable. I understand, Ember. I completely understand. Yeah,
Yep,
for
yep, yep, yep,
sure.
yep, yep, yep.
Mhm.
Um, right. So tangents, as I said, as
Here we are.
advertised.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, thrift shop. Um,
Oh,
a
I
few
love
people
that.
mentioned thrift shops. That's actually where those other two dresses are from. Somebody gave
Mhm.
me a gift card to the local. It's a rescue mission, which is it's one of those organizations where they do like a food bank thing and they have like a sleepy shelter thing. It's run by the Wegmans Corporation, which is
Oh,
regional, but it's around here. They do a lot of good stuff. They support a lot of stuff, all kinds of things like that. Anyway, I got a gift card to that as my Christmas present, and I went down there, and I'm like, it was a $20 gift card, and I found the blue one and the shiny purple one. They're over in my closet. I keep gesturing, you know.
you're
Um,
like, over here. Yeah.
yeah, but they were like $9 each, and I'm like,
Hey,
cool. I had just enough left over to get a 99-cent Santa hat for the stream marathon later on.
perfect.
Yeah, so I actually will have a different hat during the Christmas marathon streams and things.
Oh,
Oh, a wild Eric has
hey!
appeared.
Yay!
Yeah.
I was hoping he'd pop on.
You never know when an Eric is going to suddenly apparate.
So excited. Yay. Oh, and ugh, it's Eric. It says grandma. As if.
Oh, it's that Eric guy again.
Uh,
Well, he's the good Eric though. There's Eric, like Eric Hovind, for instance.
yeah, we don't
There's
care about him.
yeah.
I don't
we
know.
like our
Whenever
Eric.
I see Eric, I just like even when I'm watching a show and he's in the chat and he says hi, I get that same response. I'm like, "Oh, hi, Eric." Just so you know, Eric. It's the same. Yeah, you just that's the
I don't know if
reaction.
I've ever tried saying skeptics and scoundrels 3
I
times
just
in
say
a
Eric.
row. Mhm. Even in chat, I just type
Yeah.
Eric. I mean, if I'm on my computer,
Yeah.
then I can hit the @ symbol and it'll try to autofill a response. But when
Yeah.
I'm
He's
when
just
I'm
the
on my
nicest.
phone, I have to type it manually, and I'm like,
No.
"You're
On
Eric."
my phone, I just say at Eric or
Yeah.
at so and so. I just whatever. If I know your name, I'm just gonna say it because it doesn't work.
Yep.
But yeah. So yes, we love you too.
Here,
Yeah.
I'll even get out my heart.
Aw.
I
That's
love my
awesome.
buttons. I missed my buttons while I was away. I've got so many buttons. Would you like some thoughts and bears?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you know, just in case.
That's
I've actually got a
fantastic.
few that are for specific people for various inside jokes in the community. Um, Bree was buzzing around earlier. Normally, when Bree first enters a room, I hit this little. I don't say anything. I just hit the B, and it starts buzzing around.
That's
Whenever I see
cute.
Bree, yeah,
Wow. Fancy.
yeah. I've got a few different things, but I won't show off all my toys. That's not the point of this show. We tangented from a tangent. We are talented.
Yes, yes, I see that. It's been a
What I
tangenty show.
what I meant to do was to
Mhm.
follow up on the previous question of your best experience
Oh,
to
right.
ask about your weirdest experience.
My weirdest experience?
Mhm.
Like, online or, like, since?
Yeah, like interaction with a
Mm.
person. I mean, doing call-in shows, you probably have a greater story of them than
Well,
many
that
other people,
Jared,
but oh.
sorry, that was it. I'm sorry, that one literally takes the cake. Jared, I have watched
That's fair.
that clip back so many times and laughed. Okay, so when he first called, I was sitting there thinking, "I don't know how I'm gonna do this call because I'm just gonna laugh." And I had to quickly, because when you're on the line, you don't see the chat like you do on StreamYard. You have like,
Hmm.
it's you just don't see it. And so I quickly went over to YouTube and I'm like, "Am I the only one who feels like an idiot right now? I need to see what the chat's saying." And all the chat was saying everything I was thinking, and I was like, "Okay, good, because 'cause I'm gonna fricking laugh my head off."
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, that was literally the craziest call. And then I even said things, uh, during the call, like, "I've waited for a call like this coming on the line, and here it is, yay." And then, yeah,
Hmm.
it was he was crazy. But then he called back the next night, and I was so glad, and he talked to Eric, and he talked to Matt, and that was good. So, yeah, that was funny.
Yeah,
I
I
couldn't
still
not
haven't
laugh.
seen that one.
I couldn't not. Okay, so he was super cocky and condescending with me and Dave, like
Hmm.
ridiculously condescending. Um he had the same arrogance, but he did not have the same cockiness when he was talking to them at all. It was his tone was a little different. So, yeah, he just didn't have the same air to him when he was talking to them. He yeah, you should watch it just to compare his tone.
I've
Um,
heard it was a little different.
it was different.
I do
So,
almost like he was, scared,
yeah,
perhaps.
because I mean, I'm sorry. I I don't know all the things he was talking about, and I was like, "What the fuck are you saying? Like, talk like a human. You sound like a robot." And I said that. And like, of course, like Matt and Eric would probably know more what he was talking about. So they could like dumb it down. And I was just like, I don't know what you're saying. Like, so anyways, but
Yeah, but that was sort of the point. It was
he and
thesaurus
he
word salad.
and I said, I go, "Do you have a thesaurus in front of you? Like, are you just," and I think he knew that I think he thought that he was making us look stupid. And I was like, "No, no, nobody has conversations like this. Like, if we were sitting in a living room, you wouldn't be talking to me like face to face like this. Like, this is not how people converse, like on a one-on-one level." So, um yeah, that was I just keep looking back at it and I'm like, "No, I don't regret anything that I said." He just made me laugh, and if it was still in person, I would have just laughed and been like, You're just an idiot. You're a jerk." I still think he's a jerk, so
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah. And then
100%.
like I said, you and Dave had it right in the first place. Just enjoy yourself and laugh at people like that.
I really was. I was just, like, laughing my head off, so that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you know that whenever you run into somebody like that, at the bottom of their cheat sheet, there's a big old blank spot, and it may as well say "Yo Mama."
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure. Um, what did Eric say? Jared is a preceptor, and I'm sure he hangs out with some of the Discord preceptors. I'm like, yeah, probably. Yeah, yeah,
It seems very likely, yeah. I mean, they do tend to
definitely.
flock together so they can, smell each other's farts and reassure each other that they're the smartest humans who've ever lived.
Yeah. Actually, my friend David called in um a couple calls after. David from Deep Drinks podcast.
Yes, I heard
And
that one too.
yeah, and he's like, basically, they have a flow chart and this is all they do.
Mhm.
And he was just following his flow chart. And I was like, okay, whatever. I just couldn't stop laughing because I don't think I had ever really heard someone just talk like that. And when he got to like the P equals Q and R, and I was like, I've never been in a church service where that's the sermon. So talk like a
You
person.
know, it it makes me think of that who is it? Edward Current who did that Checkmate Atheist series.
Okay.
It's an older series of videos. He hasn't done them in ages, but they're hilarious. It's where that meme phrase "Checkmate Atheist" comes from. Um, he's done. I can't. It's been so long I can't even remember anymore. But I could see that being something that he could make into a skit. Like, have you ever considered P therefore Q? Checkmate
Okay.
atheists. You know,
Oh my
like he
gosh.
could blow it up more, but that's
Right.
that's what it is. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, and the fact that Jared fucked up his own argument was just the icing on the cake for me. Like we see God, therefore the universe is intelligible. We do see God, therefore we can assume the universe is intelligible. I'm like,
Yeah.
do we though?
Yeah.
Like, would you
Your
like
your
to
responses
demonstrate
were
that?
amazing. Yeah. They were amazing. So I loved it. That was such a good video.
Oh, we got a super chat from Az,
Oh.
who is, of course, one of our biggest and longest supporters. Az was my first patron on Patreon, one of the very first
Aw.
members, and has been around forever. And I
Nice.
appreciate the
I
hell out of
see him
him.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the reasons I humored him when he said he should have his own emoji. I was like, I'll put it in the vote.
There you
It's up to
go.
the people, but I'll put it in there, you
There
know.
you go.
He says Aunt Jer has a het cannot read today.
That's okay.
It's too many apologists. What can you do? Had a great idea. You need a Queen of Tangent emote. And Stacie, did you ever have
Uh-huh.
to hide your doubts from family or friends, even for a minute?
From my family, I would consider my family, like my husband, my mom, like my close family. No, I didn't have to hide my doubts. I was pretty open. Um, from my friends, as I kind of started, um, deconverting no, I'm pretty much an open book. I started telling people early on, like my close friends, and just kind of seeing how they handled it, and, yeah, I was kinda like, if they wanna stay friends with me, they can stay friends with me, if not, then that's their choice, but yeah, I kinda came out of the atheist closet really quickly. I told my husband December 2021, and by end of March 2022, my sister-in-law outed me on Twitter, which by my permission, and
Okay, that's not so bad then.
yeah, yeah. No, just I'm out. So, yeah, and then our church did their whole, excommunication, and yeah, everyone knew. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it makes them feel better. Like we have to
Mhm.
banish this person who has already left us.
Yeah.
I'm not fired. You're fired.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, I keep seeing this person sorry, I don't do you answer questions from your chat that aren't super chats?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
When I can, I don't want to like
Oh, okay.
completely, like interrupt you and throw off the flow of things.
It's
But
fine. I just keep seeing this one person keep asking a question that have been tagging
this one,
me. Yeah. I feel like they're a Christian based on their name.
it does seem that way.
Yeah. Um, the answer to that is we've never had someone on, and I don't know if you wanna talk about something if you're gonna proselytize, but, you can send me a message on Instagram or something, and we can discuss. So, I don't know. Our podcast is more about people leaving religion, so I don't know what we would talk about
I
otherwise,
mean, maybe the
but
person's having doubts, wants to
maybe,
pick your brain, and
maybe,
who
but
knows? Who knows?
yeah, so just so we're not ignoring you, that's my answer. Send me
Yeah,
a message.
definitely better to reach out to people and
Yeah,
you know, um,
yeah.
is yeah, your email is on your YouTube page, right?
It is, yeah, it's on my YouTube
Okay, I'm
page,
pretty
so
sure that's how I found it in the first place. I
yeah,
I do the same thing. That way, it's
yeah,
it's right out there, and people
yeah,
can
for
reach
sure.
you, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It's yeah, yeah, good times. Um,
Mhm,
I'd also suggest contacting the Kentucky Atheist because if you are a rock solid theist, he's been getting into more conversations with believers, trying to find like common ground understanding kind of stuff. They're interesting conversations. Sometimes they get me a little worked up because people will, there's the moral argument. In my opinion, a lot of people think it's the strongest. To me, it's not that it's the weakest, it's just that it's infuriating because when you fully explore the moral argument, you inevitably have to justify slavery and CSA and genocide and all sorts of impossibly horrible things and define them as
mhm,
good. And it's disgusting. It's
yeah,
gross. It's horrible. So yeah, it upsets me a bit when people go that route.
mhm.
But that's my rant about that. I'll keep my rants down to bite size.
It's all good.
Yeah. Alrighty. Do you have any tattoos?
No, but I'm gonna get one next year. That's my plan.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm turning 40, so that's my big well, I have a lot of big plans, but that's the plan. So, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I
Unless you count my
this is my
eyebrows.
first one. Are your eyebrows tattoos?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
No
So I guess
way.
yes, I do have tattoos.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they
Now,
are.
do you think that's worthwhile? Because okay, so this is one of the things I've been thinking about
I
as
forgot
I'm
about
like
that.
reworking my
Yeah,
appearance and what I want to
yeah.
do next and such. Um, like eyebrows. I look around and I see so many women have like super custom eyebrows, and I'm like, I can't even shave every day. I don't know if I can handle the eyebrow thing. Is it worth doing it? Is it better to like tattoo them on, I suppose? Like, what are your thoughts
It
on that?
was worth it for me because this one, I've had a scar since I was 8, and yeah, so I got them really nicely tattooed and microbladed in the summer, and it was like a dream come true. Um, yeah, so I wake up and they're perfect. I wash my face and they're perfect. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's pretty cool.
yeah, and they just frame your face. So, before that, yeah,
Hmm.
they are and I had done like, they were overplucked and all that, so now they're just perfect, and they make me happy.
Well,
So,
cool.
I guess I do have tattoos, and it's my eyebrows, but
Yeah,
I'm getting, like, an actual tattoo, like, I want one, do you want me to show you?
sure.
Okay, hold
If you
on.
have like a diagram handy or something.
No, I have a picture, I'll
Is it at least as good as Seth's rabbit drawing?
no, it's not as good. Okay,
Alas.
that is what I want.
Um,
Can you
it
kinda see it?
it
It's
looks kind of a
like a
plant or
little it's like a little branch
okay.
right there on my shoulder thing,
Yeah,
collarbone. Yeah.
yeah. Does it have a particular meaning for you?
No, it's just
Just pretty.
pretty.
Pretty is a good reason to do
It
things
has
too.
a meaning because I want a tattoo. That's basically it.
Cat, right? I was trying to
Right, a
remember what it was
cat.
Seth drew.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's my plan, um, I think in the spring. Yeah, for
It's a
my
good time for new
my
growth
40th
and
birthday.
new art and things.
Like right here. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm always I always want more tattoos. I just uh I got that like
Yeah.
the day after I turned 18, and
Okay.
I've got a five-pointed star on my back because,
Okay.
well, lots of reasons, but stars are cool.
Mhm.
And then I've got the I can't even do it. I'll just let's go like this. It says take what you can.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it I
I
mean I
thought
do
about
love.
something right here, like a
Yeah,
saying, but yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna end up putting try not to die on this side because
Oh,
that's like my motto: take what you can and try not to die.
okay. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it always seems to be going that way. Like,
Yeah.
you
You
know.
know, yeah.
But yeah, that got added to my list later because, I'm thinking, I'm like, I need more random questions where people have the opportunity to like express parts of themselves that
Mhm.
they don't really ever get around to talking about, you know? I'm like, yeah, let's ask about tattoos. It's fun.
That is a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's something that people like talking about, but it's
Mhm.
not too personal, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and everybody's got different levels of openness. Like I talk about the fact I have kids. People who've listened carefully probably know there's three of them because I'll mention my oldest and my youngest and my son who's in the middle.
Mhm.
you know,
I have
things
3 as
like
well.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
good number. I actually I wanted to have a huge family because
Mhm.
my grandmother had six kids and five of them married. And so I had a boatload of cousins every Christmas and Thanksgiving. And I always thought that was really cool. So I wanted to have a huge family myself. But
Right.
um, the kid's mom had other ideas. After three, we were done. And that's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Joe now. He's stopping
Oh,
by to say he'd love to have you come have a chat sometime.
that would be really nice. I would love to.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you
We've
for the
mentioned you a
offer.
couple of times, Joe.
Yes, we have.
The book giveaway and the conversations with Daniel. We may have just sent a preacher type person in your general direction because I mentioned
Mhm.
you've been having conversations with theists. So, if it's unpleasant, sorry.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I'd love
Yeah,
to.
yeah, all kinds of good stuff. All
Mhm.
right. Well, like I said, we went out of order, so we've already covered the last few questions, which is like what you're looking forward to in the coming year, what your goals might
Mhm.
be, what events you might have coming up, that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, I think unless you do have a rant about purity culture, that covers the basics. And now I'm beating up my equipment, getting all violent up in here.
Well, I mean, I think everyone who's come out of, Christianity has a rant about purity culture. Um, I ranted about it with my mom about an hour before I was on your stream. We FaceTimed, and I feel like I can rant about it all the time just because, yeah, been through it, gone through it, sucks. So yeah, we were all kind of, I mean, affected from it, but
Hmm.
making our way through. So yeah,
I think it's a good topic,
it's a
partly
great
because
topic.
so many people are so powerfully affected by it, but because it's
100%.
also a really good example of how what the more cultish elements of Christianity does affect everyone.
Mhm.
Because purity culture has an influence on all the rest of culture here in the United States and in Canada and to some extent
Yeah.
Europe and so on and so forth. Like, you know, we don't subscribe to it, we don't like it, but it's still it interferes with the the media that we see, the movies that get promoted or get produced
Mhm.
or don't, the TV shows that are on the air, the advertisements, the way people behave, the way prospective partners behave, because
Right.
there's that Puritan streak running through everything. It just
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
that's an one of the more toxic elements of Christianity, reaching out
100%.
and poisoning everything.
Mhm.
That one's super visible. But the rest of Christianity does the same thing, just in
Yeah.
less visible ways.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. No, I mean, I've been open about my whole journey. I mean, I married an amazing guy, but I got married, like, I was like, "I'm staying a virgin till I'm married," and I got married at 22, and I'll be 40 in 2 months, and, like, yeah, so but he's an amazing, amazing guy, um, and it was just yeah, purity culture is rough, and I did a stream on deep drinks back in April where we it was all purity culture, and it was a panel where we talked about that and got into a really deep discussion of how it affected all of us, and yeah, it's I feel like I'm working through a lot of it now, um, and even, like, when you first get married, you're working through it, and it's yeah, you're just
Hmm.
it's a process, and, I think you can teach safe sex to your children and not have to go through purity culture, just teach them about
Hmm.
consent, safe sex, and I would not wanna put those pressures on them, um, to stay abstinent until they're married for sure, but obviously teach them about safe sex and, consent, and they're already being taught that in schools, like consent for sure, um, but yeah, I'm definitely when I did that stream in, in April, I'll be honest about this, I'm 39 years old. I did that, I'll answer Beck's question in just one sec, but, when I did that stream in April on purity culture, I felt like a fish out of water because everyone had a lot more, like, to say, and I was like, "Yeah, I was affected by it," and all these things, and I went upstairs after the stream, I said to my husband, I'm like, "I feel like I have some homework to do." At that point in my life, this was just April of this year, like 8 months ago, whatever. I had never even watched porn in my life, and I was like, "I think I need to break that seal and just at least experience what that's like. And so just even just being like, I'm allowed to just do what I wanna do and just see what I wanna see, and so, yeah, I was still so bound up in that, and we were talking about porn on that stream, and we got off the stream, and we were behind the scenes, and I was like, "You guys," there was, like, 6 of us, I'm like, "I've never even watched porn," and they're like, "Wait, what? You just did a whole panel on purity culture," and I'm like, "Yeah," and then we did a part 2 about a month and a half later, and I was like, just so you know, like, I've now, like, watched some, and I feel like I have more to contribute now, and so, like, it takes time, and
Hmm.
I've had people think that I was lying about that, and I was like, "No, like, why would I lie about that? I grew up in purity culture. I grew up in all of this." So, it's not like I'm someone who goes and, like, watches it all the time, but I just was taught that it was bad, it was demonic, it would fuck up my marriage, and yeah, it's all not true, but yeah, so those are the hangups that I had from growing up in purity culture, so anyways,
Yeah, I
not a
mean, it
lot of
makes sense.
39-year-olds had never seen porn before, so
Well, I mean,
yeah.
there's more of them now than ever before
Yeah.
because, evangelical culture has more of a stranglehold than at any
Mhm.
time in the past. So
Yeah.
there's more 39-year-olds every day who had to go through that. And we're hoping to
Yeah.
cut the number down. It blew
Yeah.
my mind the first time I met somebody. Like I I may have been that person who didn't believe it was possible a few years ago. The first time I met somebody who'd been through that, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I was a bad influence on myself. I
Mhm.
figured out how to get, I was, my young teens were before the internet. So there were the magazines and the bookstores. I
Yeah.
figured out how to get the subscriptions without being 18 because
Right.
I was evil that way. I was very, very corruptible. Oh, I was so bad. I was in middle school. I actually had two subscriptions to the magazines. One for my personal collection, and the other I rented out. One of the kids, whoever got it for the first night, it was $2, and then other nights you get it the second night it's $1, third night it's $1, whatever, and I just cycle it around, and I make a few dollars here and there, and
Mhm.
I made a pretty decent amount of money, and the rule was if it came back sticky, you had to pay the cover
Oh
price.
my god. Oh my god. Well, there you go.
So I didn't just corrupt myself, I corrupted others. So
Oh,
I was
wow.
aware that I had, you know, a more, not balanced view, but, I was
Right.
very, very open. Like, to me, it was just another art form. I didn't even
Mhm.
understand why the other kids were so interested, but whatever. And the articles often were actually fascinating, but
Okay,
I'm one
that's
of
what
those
I've heard.
weirdos who read them?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, like,
Mhm.
I can still remember they used to have on the back of the centerfold, they had jokes for that month's issue, and I still remember one of the jokes. It was
Okay.
this Eskimo snowmobiling around, Inuit person is
Mhm.
snowmobiling up around above the Arctic Circle, and his snowmobile starts making a funny noise. So he brings it into the shop, and the
Mhm.
mechanic looks and looks, and he's like, I'm really sorry, I have to tell you, it looks like you blew a seal. And the Inuit person goes, oh no, this is just frost on my mustache.
Oh my god. Ember.
I was a middle schooler. It was freaking witty to me.
It is very witty.
Yeah, and it's
Oh
still
my
stuck in my
god.
head
Yeah.
all these years later.
Mhm.
But yeah, so when I met people who had literally never seen porn before, I was like,
You thought we
how?
were lying.
I'm
Why
like, I
would
just don't
I
understand how
lie?
it was possible.
Well, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ay, ay, ay.
Oh, and so to answer Beck's question, if
Oh,
I could
right.
have any I'll
We
keep you
tangented
on
off the
track.
tangents again.
I'll keep you on track. Um, if I could have any career,
Yeah, there it is.
what would it be? Hmm. I used to think okay, what I wanted to be before was a teacher, like an elementary school teacher. That was, like, my dream career before. Now I don't think so anymore. No, I really love what I do now, which is, like, I really love, I work at a golf course during the summer, and I feel like I found my dream job. I love it. So, that's what I would that I found it.
Yeah,
I'm a very social person, and, yeah, I love being around people, and I don't think I'd wanna be around children all day.
that's fair.
Oh.
That's fair. I mean, so when I was a kid, I liked kids. As I got older, they started to seem annoying, and as I got still older, the little ones were cute, and the older ones were, and they
Yeah,
varied and whatnot. But
yeah.
you know, when people tell me, especially this past month when I was like, okay, I left that job, I need another job, etc. People would suggest like school bus driver, and I'm like, hell no.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. With your own kids, it's a little different. I don't dislike kids. I think it's more about the individual. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't want like my job to be being around kids for whatever reason. I don't know. Um, I think that takes more of a force type person. Now
Right.
I
Yeah.
do understand how it feels to like present something new to a child and have them like their head explode in amazement
Mhm.
and wonder, and not only sh- share that experience with them, but be the cause of that experience. I'm just not confident I could do it all day, every day. you
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
Oh goodness. But yeah, golf course, you get the outdoorsy stuff, you get a little bit of peopling. Um
Mhm.
it's nature adjacent. I One of my dream jobs was a forest ranger because I love being in the woods.
Okay.
But it's weirdly there's no national parks anywhere near where I live. I live not far from the Adirondacks, but despite the gigantic size, that's a state park.
Right.
I suppose I could have been a state ranger, but at the time, when I was looking, it it didn't pay very well.
Aw.
So, you know, um, oh, I almost got Ansel Adams' old job, the official
Oh,
photographer for the National Park Service.
okay.
Yeah, I was in the final round of consideration because they had to fill out tons of paperwork and then send in a bunch of samples of your landscapes and things and whatnot, and you go through a different round. It's a surprisingly political process, I guess, because you're producing the imagery that all the congressmen are going to point to and see, look, we're funding that, I'm doing a good job, reelect me,
Right.
something like that. But yeah, it was really close.
That's
I
cool.
I mean, tastes are going to vary.
Mhm.
But as it was explained to me, the person they picked, the fact he already lived in Washington, D.C., was an insurmountable edge in his favor.
Right.
Although I thought that was weird because most of the national parks are way the hell out west, so why does it matter if a person lives in D.C.?
Yeah. There you go.
I don't know, though. But still,
Mhm.
you do what you can. Okay,
Mhm.
well, um, like I said, we have depleted all of my questions. Do you have any questions you'd like to fling or have at
Fling.
or what have you? Yeah, yeet.
Um, Eat. No, I think this has been amazing. It's been fun just to hang out with you because I don't think we've actually ever just conversed on a stream or anything. So this has been awesome.
Hell yeah,
I love it. Yeah.
yeah,
I've
for
had a
sure.
lot
Yeah,
of fun.
anytime you want to hang out, we can. I love hanging out with people.
I know.
I don't get to do it
It's
often enough.
yeah, no, this has been amazing. And you're wonderful.
I
So
thank you. I try.
I yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me on, and I've really liked just getting to know some of your people in your chat, and so and getting
Yeah.
invited onto some shows. So yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and a lot of them are floating around. I mean, I'm sure most of them are already aware of you, but for the
There's been
one
a
or two
few
who may not have
others
heard
that
of you.
I
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that I have known,
It
so
is my great privilege to
mhm.
introduce wonderful people to as many people as I can.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's good times.
Mhm.
Alrighty. So I reckon we should probably wrap up here. Keep the stream,
Alright.
rewatchable. I mean, I've
I know.
done a 12-hour stream before.
Oh
No
my
one will
god.
ever rewatch that.
That is crazy,
It was my
but
birthday
fun.
stream. I
Oh,
intended to do
cool.
a long stream, like 6 hours or something, and then
Mhm.
then people started um, um, goading me on. They were like, "Oh, are you trying to break this person's record? It's like 6.5 hours." I'm like, "Well, it's an extra half an hour,
Oh
whatever."
my
And then I'd
gosh.
do that, and then they'd be, "Oh, are you trying to break this person's record?" And after that happened a couple of times, I was getting wise. I'm like, they're just going to keep throwing out other records. So I went and looked for the longest stream on YouTube, and it was 11 hours and 58 minutes. So I'm like, "All right, fuckers, I'm doing 12
Oh
hours."
my fuckers. Oh my gosh, you should be in the Guinness Book of World Records then.
Well,
That's amazing.
sadly, as it turns out, YouTube cuts off the recording of a stream at 12 hours. You can keep
Oh.
going, but the recording ends.
Okay. Oh,
So
wow.
every stream that's gone over that limit shows as being 11 hours, 58 minutes, and 14 seconds, or whatever the hell it is.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, so a lot of people have gone over 12 hours. We just
Oh my
don't
god.
know how far over 12
Right,
hours.
okay. I see.
Alas.
Wow. Crazy.
Yes, isn't it just a Wednesday for service? He's always on. I
Hmm.
envy him that one. I actually, so kind of one of my ideals is the way Owen Telltale does things.
Mhm.
Like he's on most days, not every day.
Mhm.
He's got a life, he's got stuff going on, but he's on for a few hours every day, and he just does what he does.
Yeah,
He plays his game, he reviews random videos here and there, and then he sends them to his editor, or he
yeah,
has to edit himself, whatever the case may be, and
and
then
then cut.
chop it up into
Yeah,
videos for his main channel.
yeah.
And I'm like, that would be really cool, because
Mhm.
then I'd constantly be producing content, but also hanging out with the people I want to spend time with.
Exactly. I know, it's like the
That would be
best of both.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm
Super
like,
chat.
yeah. Eric,
Aw.
our good friend from Skeptics and Scoundrels, who may or may not have been tricked by a demon, sends $10 and says, "Merry War on Christmas, fellow heathens." Huzzah!
Oh, Merry Warren Christmas to you too. I hope you have a great Christmas.
Yeah, I understand. Going back to Owen, coincidentally, I understand
Yeah,
for former Jehovah's Witnesses, Christmas is sort of a big deal since they weren't allowed to celebrate it before.
yeah.
I gather opinions vary. Me personally, having been raised a heathen, or at least a heretic,
Mhm,
um, I like secular Christmas. Like
mhm.
I don't have
Yeah,
any particular use for the religious baggage, but I love the decorations. I love the lights. Having a festival of lights in the middle of winter is just like the best idea ever.
yeah. That's
And
awesome.
presents are cool too. I do have mixed feelings about presents. Like there's the I like to give people presents randomly. Like when I find something they'd really like or they'd get
Yes,
excited about or I don't want to wait until some arbitrary date, whether it's their
I
birthday or
have
Christmas or
not
whatever.
enjoyed shopping this year.
No.
No. I'm just like, it hasn't no, it just feels so like a chore.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's the
I
other
enjoy
side of the.
finding something like, "Oh, so and so would love this," at, like, a random time.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, that's much more the way I like to do things. But
yeah.
I mean, the gifts are nice, but the obligatory thing, that
Yeah.
bugged me when I was a child. Like,
Mhm.
my grandmother would try to find like a sweater that I'd like or something like that. And I'm like,
Mhm.
but she's doing it because she feels like she has to, because it's the
Mm,
tradition. And I'm
right.
like, that's kind of shitty for both of us, you know?
That's very smart of you to pick up on that.
Yeah, I was a weird child.
Ah.
So I've mentioned this on a previous stream, so I'm not throwing too much personal info out there. I actually managed to be in both the gifted program and the remedial program at the same time.
Mhm.
I was a very weird child.
Aw.
Or, well, to be more accurate about it, I was in a rather messed up school system.
Oh, okay.
6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Right, yeah, exactly. Oh,
Alrighty. So yeah, I all of that to say, um, I intended to start to wind things down and again keep the stream rewatchable in case
rewatchable,
anybody
yeah.
cares to. Any future people, hello, future people. Hey, if you are a
Huh?
future people, do
Yeah.
take a minute to hit that subscribe button. Maybe
Yes.
maybe press a couple other
And like
buttons.
it, share.
Yeah,
Yep,
do
all
do
the
all the
things.
things. Thanks again.
We're saying the same things, yep.
I mean, that part at least, that's almost like it comes with the YouTube manual. When you get
Yeah,
your channel, they send
right,
it, you have to say this and
we do. It's true. Yeah,
and
it's true.
normally your channel also comes with a Titan Uranus as a mod, but I haven't seen Titan in a while. So, I don't know,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
he's playing more poker tournaments. And good luck to
Oh.
him if he is. Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. Anyway, I keep digressing. I'm the worst. I don't know. It's just fun hanging out with you because I'm
It
like
is.
I'm all
I'm glad.
giggly and shit.
I'm
Yeah,
glad.
yeah. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank
It,
you.
it has been a long time in the making,
I
but
know.
yeah, kind of worth the wait. Um, yeah, we should
Yes.
totally have a fan art section on the Discord. I think I've got an art you made page and an art you dig page or something like that. But yeah, maybe I should make like a dedicated fan. I don't know. I may end up with things that I'm not expecting. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, there's places for art. Yeah, join the Discord. It's
Hey.
where all the cool kids hang out. All those things.
Mhm.
Alrighty.
All right.
Thanks everybody for joining us.
Thank
It's
you.
it's been a blast, especially after that other stream earlier. This was much nicer. So yeah, I greatly
A lot.
appreciate it. And as always, remember, you don't have to. How am I going to phrase this one? You don't have to convince your parishioners that every crazy idea that crosses your desk is true because you are better than religion. Aha, that one will work.
There you go.
Now I'm gonna, awkwardly try to find. I see the button, but I'm making a joke out of being awkward and doing. Okay, let's.
I love you.